In the zone. In the zone. In the zone. Podcast. In the zone. In the zone. In the zone. Podcast. In the zone. In the zone. In the zone. Podcast. 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 In the zone. In the zone. In the zone. Podcast. In the zone. In the zone. In the zone. Podcast. In the zone. In the zone. In the zone. Podcast. In the zone. In the zone. In the zone. Podcast. 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 In the zone. Podcast.
I can't hear what they saying. You can mute me without muting. No.
In the zone. Podcast. 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 In the zone. Podcast.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the In the Zone podcast. It is your boy B. Foster. Brian Foster's in the building. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to April. It's a little rainy, it's a little cool, but we got some sunny days coming up. We got some sunny days coming up here in Chicago. If you were somewhere warm weather-wise right now watching, fuck you. We mad at your weather. I hate your heart. But no, listen.
Your whole heart.
Your whole heart.
God
we got a good one coming up for you today. We have 4 vivacious ladies in here telling us why they don't give no damn about marriage and no men.
I don't know if that was really.
That's what I heard.
I do actually
I
like
think there was some deprioritization about it.
Oh, is that what it's about?
Just deprioritize.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean,
That's
I
right.
guess we'll get into that, right? Like, if they just like fuck these niggas, or they just like, you know what?
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens.
If it happens, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see if that happens.
Let me share this in a couple of places.
But I'm
Introduce
excited.
everybody.
I'm excited for several reasons on this show. One, because I've been wanting to do this topic for a couple of weeks, and Brian kept vetoing me until he didn't have no more ideas, and we finally came over here.
True. That's not true at all.
And two, we have some of y'all faves. Of course, we have an ITZ version, so we always got to at least have one version on our show. We like having little versions.
I love a virgin.
And actually, I will start with the virgin because this person is particularly near and dear to my heart because I very rarely, Brian always bring a motherfuckers from when young on here, and I very rarely have people from high school. So I actually brought somebody from high school onto the show. Keisha, hi Keisha.
Live from county jail.
I don't. I'm sorry. I should have warned you. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming. Hi, Keish.
Hi. How are you?
Good. All right. So, and now we have some of our long-standing IT. Well, Toya's not too long-standing.
Toya's
She's
still
fairly
pretty
new. But we can bring Toya in. Hi, Toya.
Hello. Good evening.
She's so polite before she like dragged the shit out of these niggas, though. she. That's not the hospitality be a shit. Hello. You all are broken.
I throw hot grits on you, motherfucker.
She's like, you're all broke. That's why you have no bitches. Like, damn.
All right.
All right, and I feel like the one to my right absolutely needs zero introduction to Heidi. Hey,
What's up?
and she surprised the shit out of us.
Surprise.
She gangstered her way on the
She
show.
evolved my way on the show. I said,
She was
this is something I know
concerned
about.
we were gonna have too many lightweights on the show. She was like, somebody need to come in with the fire. Then she
little
saw
bit.
who was here and was like, oh, my bad, never mind.
No, because I love Toya's reads. It's giving Phaedra. It's giving proper Southern read. I live for that. That makes my day.
I just want to talk about this. When she read one dude, I was hurt for him. She basically told him he was broke and he really needed to go to therapy because he was broke. I said, God
I
damn.
you gotta be for therapy to be.
Can you afford
suggested.
therapy if you don't?
Probably not. That's why he's so butthurt. Go. And last but most certainly not least, I feel like she's in the running for the most shows over the last 3 years.
She's up there.
And I don't even know how we could have a conversation about women saying fuck you to marriage without a Jennifer Lee. Jennifer Lee, thank you for coming and hanging out with us all the way from the Big D.
Yes, hi from 85-degree Dallas, Texas.
This is the one I was talking about. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Beautiful. I love the sun.
So he hates your full heart.
Well,
me too.
Your full warm, but got a shoulder. I know it's warm out there.
They in the pools and shit.
I'm mad about this. Anyway,
she looks warm too, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I, of course, want to just jump in. I'm a big deep into the pool kind of girl. And I know the men who are watching, especially this motherfucker to my right, is definitely going to be saying this to himself during the show, right? That really all this hubbub about not wanting a man and not giving a fuck about marriage, or marriage ain't the most important thing, really is about y'all not being able to get a man or maintain a man. So
I didn't say that.
Yet.
I'm not saying it.
She took the word yet.
But I know there are men who are watching. The trolls are coming. They're going to be here in a second. They're going to be asking this question. So let's not even pussyfoot around the bullshit. Let's actually dive into that question. And let's start with our newbie, Keisha. Is this whole mindset about women really just not having marriage as the top priority, or just not even thinking about marriage, really about the fact that women can't keep or maintain a man? Y'all just really ugly, broke bitches, and that's really what this is all about?
Well, first, I'm not ugly. But no, I wouldn't say I'm against marriage. However, I do prioritize me. So if you don't fit under the umbrella of Keisha and you're not, it should be a collaborative thing. So if we're not on the same page, then marriage is not on the focus for me.
Oh, so this is really for you, at least, more about focusing on your life. And if somebody kind of happens to walk in and add some color or some flavor.
Right, because I'm not certain. But if it happens, would I be against it? No. But also I have boundaries, I have expectations that should and will be met.
Oh, okay. We can dive into them expectations in them. Can you put the camera back on us? Because I need us to see Brian's face real quick.
Mm-hmm. This guy.
All right. Well, while him and many of the others are probably thinking about that for a second, and just be clear, I'm being antagonistic because I definitely fall into this category, which we can maybe or maybe not hop into there. But let's go to somebody a little bit more. I know this answer is going to be fiery. Toya, is this really about y'all being ugly, no man having, no man getting motherfuckers? Is this really what all this is about?
I think people want to shame women, and it's in men's interest for women to want them, to be chosen by them, to be validated by if they have a man or not.
Oh,
I'm not. I think I'm appealing. The world tells me I'm appealing every day. I've been married twice.
Twice, apparently.
Twice. I've been married twice. I think, I want to have kids. You have to have a husband, have kids. I'm from the South. That's how it goes. But there's a difference between there's a difference between being married or unmarried and being alone. And it sounds like on a lot of these Facebook comments, you're going to be alone. Single means alone. It doesn't. What about your friends, your family, your significant other, your date, your fuck buddy, whatever? It doesn't mean you're alone. It doesn't mean you're unlovable, you're undesirable. It means that I have a full, well-rounded life that's not subject or secondary to a man and his needs and wants. That's not for everybody.
So do you think the stereotype or narrative that we do see on Facebook, I do see this, is more, you said it, right? Like this is a way to just pigeonhole women or make them feel bad, or like, is that what you thinking that really comes from?
Because men think that men actually need the validation. They need women to want them. They need women to want their approval, want their attention, and it's about their ego. They want to feel superior to women, and they're not. They know they're not. So because if they really felt like they were, they would be worried about women being chosen, of women saying the right things to them, women caring about, oh, you don't have a man, or well, are you single, but where your man at? Shut, this ain't you. You know what I mean? Like, so I just think that it's really about the male ego. Men think that they feel validated by how many women they can have sex with, how many women they can call on the phone, how many women respond to their WYD text. And if nobody's checking for them, then they feel like losers. And because of that, they are losers.
I was waiting.
Oh,
I was waiting.
let's say that.
So what I've heard so far is one person has said that you got to get in where you fit in my life, because I'm the most important thing going on. And the other thing,
she said it.
that's what I heard.
Oh,
and the other
not
thing
what
I
I
heard, the other thing I heard was I only got married and deal with men so I could have legitimate babies. That's what I've heard so far.
Whoa, that second one.
That's what she said.
That
It
is,
is
I
true,
don't.
though.
That's what she said.
Did you say that?
I didn't say it that
That's
way.
what she said.
I didn't hear none of it.
I didn't say I used better words.
You did. I just broke it down to the brokenness down. Go ahead.
Tiny. Same question for you. Is this really about bitches not being able to get a man? That's why y'all sitting here pretending to be okay being lonely.
There is no shortage of niggas to date. Okay. And I don't care what you look like. If your heart is beating and there's a hole for his pole, you can get a nigga. Period. Point blank. Let's not even make it
I
more than
co-sign
what it is.
Finally.
Okay.
I co-sign
And
that.
so it's just, for me anyway, about being super selective. Like if you're in the zodiacs, I'm a Virgo, so I tend to be a more picky person anyway. And it's like, you could get with this or you could get with that. I'd rather not get with either if all of my needs aren't met. And I don't care about, like, some of the other ladies mentioned, I don't care about being alone. Alone is not synonymous with being lonely. My life is full without, a man, and it'll be full with a man.
Well, I always have a man. That don't mean I want to be married to one. I don't like them living with me. So I don't married to that.
So I think and I agree with Tahani here.
Shocker.
And no, because I made this post and got into a big argument with men about this. I don't think getting a man is hard. Because like you said, if you got a hole to stick the pole, you can get a man. Can you keep that man? Will that man marry you? That's a different conversation. That's all I'm saying.
That's all.
I've gotten proposed to twice.
And married twice. So clearly, yes.
I've got married twice, long marriages, been proposed to since.
And I assume you initiated both divorces?
I did,
Okay.
but it doesn't matter who initiates.
That's what women do.
It don't matter.
They quit on us. Y'all, they quit on us.
Everybody
quit
always cites that.
Quit nasty. Quit nasty.
That doesn't mean I was the cause of the breakdown of marriage, but I might have been. Who knows? But I like long-term relationships. I like monogamous long-term relationships. I just want to have my own bedroom, my own closets, my own kitchen, my own bathroom. I don't want to live with someone. I don't.
Sound good
I don't
to
like
me.
it.
The formerly married folks are saying that.
Sound good to me.
Or currently
I'm
married
about to
folks.
say, shit. Separate houses? Beautiful. Jen, bring it in. What do you think?
It's so funny to me because that's a trope that's around Facebook. Oh, you can't get a man. Oh, you can't have a man. There are women less attractive, less everything than what I am. So, and they have men. For you to think that any of us are out here scrounging for these dusty ass men, that's just so crazy to me.
Wait, why we gotta be dusty though? I didn't ask. It's a rhetorical question. It's a rhetorical question. It's a rhetorical question.
Trusty. But I think that I'm in between Toya and Keisha. Like, I love my own space. I love my life. What my biggest fear is, and what I've seen from men post-divorce, is that the pieces of me that they want me to give up to be their wife, I'm not willing to do it. I don't want to manage your life in any way. I don't want to manage your sick mama, take care of your sick kids. I want to take care. I'm in a very selfish phase. I married young.
Put this whole table over. You don't want to help take care of my mama?
I don't want shit for you. I want to take care of me. I barely want to take care of these little grown ass kids. And so when I think of men, I think of neediness. I think of him wanting more of me than I want to give him. I want to get on the airplane and go on vacation for 2 weeks. I want to take my daughter to see Beyonce after we go to Portugal and Morocco. Like, I don't want to talk to you about how I'm spending my money or my time. And so I think for me, it's best that I am single, because if I'm married or if I'm for real seriously booed up, it's going, well, how long are you going to be gone? Well, how much does that cost? Did I ask you for any fucking money? Leave me alone. And so
hold on, Jennifer. Yep. First of all, now the fourth person has said what I'm hearing.
I don't
you want to go back? You want to do round?
I'm already breaking these them down. Jennifer's telling me she's selfish.
Yep.
She don't want to share enough of herself with anybody, and she dating the wrong motherfuckers. If you spending your money to go wherever you want to go and you ain't asked me for damn one, bye, baby. See you when you get back.
No, men are needy, Brian, and you are very rare. I mean, I was literally talking about.
No, the fuck he's not.
Also,
wait, let her finish.
I'm the female version of you. I'm the female version of you. So imagine if I was your wife and I was like, yeah, Brian, I'm taking my daughter to see Beyonce. We just got back from Portugal and Morocco. I probably spent about 5 G's. I don't want to hear about it. It's my money. And so with men, it's like, well, how much money does that cost? So why your kids so spoiled? Listen, I don't want to partake in conversations about what I spend or what I'm doing with my time. I have a lot of vacation time. I have grown kids who can drink alcohol, and we out. You can go, great. If you can't, but I don't want to discuss it with you. I just want to go.
Will you take me?
Take. I cannot even imagine the sex great enough for me to take a man on international vacation. I have not had.
Ever?
No, and I've had some great penis, but ain't no penis good enough for me to be like.
Not even for that nigga's birthday.
Jennifer, it's not about the penis. It's about our emotional and spiritual connection.
Yeah,
and how much fun we have together, as opposed to you going by yourself or with your kids.
It's about that manyan.
Nope. Okay, for your birthday.
I got a few dinners. Okay.
For your birthday.
Now, I don't want to leave you out. Now you
this is not my conversation.
I know, but let me get the question out. Okay. Now you've heard everybody's rationale for not being the ugly bitch that's lonely. Are you believing them?
No. I 100% believe them. I don't think I've never believed this lazy trope that's around on social media that these ladies cannot get a man. That men are easy to get. We are not difficult creatures at all. At all. Now, as I asked earlier, the question then becomes, can you get us to become serious? Sure you can. Can you get us to marry you? Obviously, on this panel, we've seen them get married. So I don't think that's really the case. I think what we underestimate as men, a lot of the times, is a woman's one, personal value, and two, peace. And men say, we want peace. Like, what do you want from your woman? Peace. I just want peace. I just want to come on and get peace. We are very disruptive creatures. We don't believe we are.
Sorry
to pluck my hair on that.
We are disruptive. We are disruptive creatures, and so we don't believe we are, and maybe not quite as much as you are. But I do believe that women protect their peace and protect their space and all that. And to be frank, I think a lot of what happens with ladies and why they go the route they go when it comes to us is because they've met a lot of dirtbag, raggedy ass niggas, and it makes them guarded. And it makes them wary, and it makes them think twice before they commit to us because they've already been burned.
Thank you for segueing to our next question. To Heine. Okay, now that we've gotten the more salacious kind of tropey thing out of the way, because I knew that was going to be there for some people, let's really dig into how each of you guys kind of landed there and kind of talk about how you got there and why maybe other women similar to you are making these choices too. And I really want to say deprioritize marriage, right? Because I'm sure there are some people who legitimately just like, I'm fuck being married, fuck these niggas. I don't think anybody on this panel is like that.
Jen?
No, I'm not.
Jen is.
I love men. Stop it.
Yeah, you love us and leave us. I know you here for a good time, not a long time.
Jen, you know what? I'm about to bust Jen out. Jen's so full of shit. Because I have been on text threads. She was like, I'll take you to dinner. I love a man's company. I want to just be around men. Let me take you to dinner.
See, all that tough all that podcast tough
I
talk.
love hanging around Brian and Tony. I ain't gotta love being around some man want to kiss all on me.
Dusty, as you
Wait a
call her.
minute, the one that want to kiss her, she don't want to take on the date, but she want to take you motherfuckers. She ain't get shit from.
Sounds good to me.
He ain't objecting.
Sounds great.
All right, back to the question. To Heine, how did you get here, and what do you think is the reason that other women are starting to choose to deprioritize relationship or romantic relationships with men?
I arrived here, and everyone hates to hear it, but it's my reason. Once I saw the extreme disparity,
Don't do it!
what it felt like
Damn it.
to date a brother and the other, I knew that because of how I grew up, my family, and my little neck of, my little Mecca in the neck of the South suburbs, I always saw Black men behaving a certain way, and I saw wives. And for the most part, a lot of our moms didn't have to work. They could do, bougie pants, social organizations, whatever. And that's what I always envisioned for myself as far as marriage went. Once I became a grown-up and saw that that was a luxury, not necessarily allotted to Black women that looked like me, thought like me, moved how I moved, I said, I want this kind of marriage or I want nothing at all. And everyone's like, oh, the white guys treat you so well, you marry them. I don't want to pretend to like green bean casserole. I don't want to explain racial disparities to a child who, if y'all seen Jen on my family, we got some like people that pass and then we got chocolate chips, right? I got a 50-50 chance of having each. So what if I get a baby that's like, well, I look like more white leaning, so I want to do that, right? Because my dad's white, and then with your parents being mixed or whatever, I ain't trying to have that conversation. Like Jen don't want to have a money talk. I don't want to have a race talk with a child. I do enough of that at work, right? So no. And once I really added in, I said, for me, chunky chocolate girls with a little change. I ain't rich as y'all now, but I said marriage is a luxury for us if you want a Black husband. It's easy to, obtain if I just wanted to settle for a white guy, and I don't. Despite my dating practices, I don't. I would only want my little chocolate family, my little chunky chocolate babies living in the burbs with our little cute bougie setup like what I grew up with. And once I got older, I realized that's not likely to happen. Like, it's just not.
So, honey, I got to push back a little bit. I appreciate that perspective. I do. I don't think it's realistic in a lot of cases. They are in some cases. I don't think it's realistic in a lot of cases, Black, white, or other, for it to be like it was in the 60s or the 50s, where it was a husband and he paid for everything and the wife didn't work. That was a beautiful time. The world is different right now. I'm not saying people don't do it, because they do. They obviously do. But I think that it's 100% possible. You just maybe got to let go a little bit of that old-fashioned way of I just want to be in the crib and my husband pay for everything thing. I'm not saying he ain't going to cover the majority, but you do your thing. You're smart. You got a lot of businesses and whatnot going on. You're going to put your piece in, and you can still have it.
And see, and that's the thing. Jen touched on that. I'm new, into getting myself together financially. Let's just be out there, right? I'm not going to bicker back and forth about why I bought my nanny baby like some Fendi flip-flops, or my niece or nephews like the tiniest little Louis bag that I could find. I thought it was cute. I bought it. Ain't none of your business. I put 3 nannies on this week. Each family pays like 5 racks to get a nanny, right? No matter if they keep or whatever, right? So if I spend $2,000 or $3,000, I'm not discussing that with you. It's my money. But if you cover the mortgage, I'll cover the light bill. You pay the car notes. I'll keep the gas in it. I don't mind those things. But you can't even get brothers to, once they see you have a little change or that you do certain things, it's like, well, if you could buy that, then you need to be doing XYZ for me. No, that's what I did for my work child. That's what I did for my family.
If you buying 3 $2,000 little Fendi bags, you damn right you better be putting on this mortgage. This money ain't being spent right.
I don't want to have that talk. I want my man to cover what he's going to cover and not worry about what I do. Okay. And it's just not possible.
That's not how we build generational wealth. But okay.
Yeah, I'll give them, a little bit to put in a mutual fund or whatever y'all do. I want my freedom to do what I like without answering.
I hear, but there's got to be some boundaries, and there's got to be some conversation about it if we're working together as a unit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I ain't talking about shit.
That's all I'm saying.
My money is my money, and your money is our money.
See, this is where we diverge. Go ahead, Sean.
Keisha, hop in here. Like, how did you get to a point where you deprioritize marriage or relationships with men, and why do you think women similar to yourself have gotten to this point?
Wait, I got a question, Keisha, before you start. You have you been married?
No, I've never been married.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to know that.
Why?
No, there's a different.
She might have somebody.
No.
Perspective.
No, if the perspective is different, I think your perspective and Jen's perspective might diverge a little bit because Jen's been married and you haven't, and they might converge. I'm just curious. That's all.
So I come from a family of marriage. My mother and my father were married. My siblings are married. The reason I wouldn't say deprioritize it, because I still look at marriage as a priority. It's something that one day I would hope to attain. It's just not something that I'm searching. If it happens, it happens. I dated someone who, I know people throw the term around, but I actually lived with dating a narcissist, like literally textbook narcissist. And it just made me take a step back and reevaluate myself and the things that I'm willing to accept, the things that I'm willing to deal with within a relationship. And that's why I said I have boundaries, I have expectations. And if these things aren't met, then marriage is nowhere in scope for me. I don't ever want to deal with a man that I feel as if I have to compete with, a man that's envious of my career, my success. They don't look at us as being equally yoked. It's not something that I want in my life.
Okay. And why do you think, I know for you personally, but why do you think, or I'm sure you've had conversations with women who have similar views as you. Why do you think they've landed it there as well? I assume they all haven't dated narcissists.
Wait, say that the last part one more time.
I was saying, I'm sure you've had conversations with other women in your circle who have similar opinions to you, who may have, and when I mean deprioritize, right? You have your priorities, like making sure your kids are safe is a priority, make sure you're safe, making sure you have therapy. I'm not saying you in particular, but there are things you like are actively driving toward doing right. Those are your priorities. When I say it's deprioritize, meaning you're not driving toward it. Like for me, I may or may not go to Paris. If it shows up, great. If it doesn't, I won't die. So that's what I mean by like deprioritizing, right?
Yeah,
Somebody may take me to Paris. Okay. Shit. Somebody take me to Greece. Anyway, so with that in perspective, why do you think the women in your circle that you've had these conversations with have landed as similar views as you?
With my collective group, that's a good question, because my sister has been married. My little sister has been married 29 years. And then I have friends who are just about to get married. And then friends who have been married and divorced and who are just totally against marriage. But I think it all comes from, one, how they view their parents' marriage. Because I look at how I view my parents' marriage and the marriages within the people in my family. And then just dating overall, like how women engage with men, the things that they're willing to accept from a man, the situations that they openly go into, knowing what the outcome would be, but then get mad when that outcome actually happens. Those are the things that my friends actually go through on a daily basis. And I weed that part out. I don't want to be a part of that. I would rather be by myself and happy and calm without any drama than to deal with someone where I know the outcome will be something negative because the way that it was presented to me.
With that said, and this is a question I had on the list, my very long list, because ChatGPT really came up with some fabulous questions. I knew we weren't going to get them.
Isn't it amazing?
Why do you think there is such a turn of course, right? You come from marriage. I know your family, like it's a shit ton of y'all, right? Why do you think there is such a difference between what our mothers would accept, right? And I want us all to be transparent. None of the shit that men are doing now is brand fucking new. None of it. They're not doing anything particularly special now, right? But women did actively seek marriage. Women did actively seek relationships. Our grandmothers, our mothers. Why do you think there's been such an about face for women with their relationships to men?
This is my opinion, but that's going on right.
That's a good question.
Society has changed. So my mother would have been 90 years old if she was still here. And when my mother and my father married, marriage was the priority. Marriage, family, mother and father within the home. But then you look into modern times when, a lot of the parents, if they were not as fortunate to have like a great paying job and they were looking to utilize public assistance, and they shunned the fact that there was a mother and a father in the home. But if the father wasn't able to find work, the mother had to find a way to feed the children. They had to encourage the ideal of no man in the house, and it just developed over time where
Facts.
totally been removed from the home. So now in society, that's just the norm, single parent homes. And that's just not what I was brought up in. But the people around me, that is their norm.
Facts. I don't want. Yes. Come on, Keisha. The shit was a systematic destruction of the black family.
But this is a fact. This is a fact.
All right.
They encourage the fact
I
that
had comments, but now I had Keisha let's lay it down. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Nigga gonna have the Holy Ghost in a minute. Jen, hop up in here. How did you get here?
We gotta get. I mean, we haven't got.
I'm sorry. Fine. We'll go to Toya.
We haven't got Toya in a second.
Toya, you.
Yeah.
Jen talk a lot. We can't be asking Jen. It'll be 20 minutes later.
No, that is not the last podcast.
I'm just
you
kidding,
forgot I was
Jennifer.
saying
Jennifer, I'm
your
kidding.
cockroach.
I'm kidding. You, Jennifer. Go ahead, Toya.
Toya.
Not only have I been married, I actually have been married most of my adult life, but I come from a Southern family. Everybody's married. I'm in Jack and Jill. All my friends are married. I can say that I'm a fuller version of myself. Men are draining. I like relationships, but it's a lot of giving,
What makes us so draining? I want to hear this. What makes us so draining?
It's just so needy.
I didn't ask you nothing.
So needy. So, I was raised to be a wife. So there are things you do, the domestic stuff. That's a lot of work, It
doesn't sound like the men are demanding it. It seems like you're setting up that expectation and then they're letting you meet it.
That could be. I mean, it could be, and I don't like it. So
you're gonna cook and clean. I'm gonna let you cook and clean. Now.
And they do. So, first of all, I believe in marriage. If you want to have kids, I think you should get married. You try it. Before you have kids, I think you should get a husband and try to make that work. However, I don't think it's some requirement for happiness, because there are a lot of women who they work, they domestic with the kids and the husband in the home, they watch TV and they go to sleep. They have a horrible life. Whereas if you take out some of that, you have more for yourself. You can have a hobby. A lot of adults don't have hobbies. A lot don't have hobbies. They don't read any books. Who reads books? Hardly anybody. I travel.
Audio books count? No, you gotta read it. I'm just asking.
You gotta flip the page.
Yeah, you gotta flip the page.
Similar to what Jim was saying, I traveled alone to Greece for my 50th birthday. That was the most amazing experience I've ever had. It's just the things that you do to have a fuller existence. I think it's hard to do that within a marriage, the way marriage is set up. That doesn't mean I think poorly of marriage. I want my daughters to get married if they want to have kids. But
you keep putting that kids part in there. What if they don't have kids? Just marriage for marriage's sake.
What do you
I
want
don't
to get
believe
married
it.
for?
I don't
There we go. That's what I want to touch on.
what is that? Because then you're just like in a dating. I'm in a dating relationship. We see each other almost every day. Like, he cooked dinner for me before I came here. We spent 45 minutes before I came here together today because I worked and whatever. So I think having that connection is great. But then I had this. I talked to my girlfriends today. I talked to my kids today. I worked. I did other things.
And you saying if you're married, you can't have those things?
I think that is difficult. I think because men are so demanding. There's so much. And they don't do enough domestically. It's not really shared. So
I grant you that.
Yeah. And then, my first marriage, you guys probably know, I was a housewife. I was engineering grad, housewife. That was exhausting.
Hold on.
Man, I was waiting. I was waiting for him to say
on that, because I have a whole career doing housework, so to speak. And what if these people couldn't afford to employ help, like a fancy nanny or a cook or whatever? For that, and that's part of the reason. Let's segue and tie it into the show. A big part of the reason why I don't want to get married, because my mind cannot conceive doing all of the things like my mom did or my friends did or other Black women that, are kind of my age, to have to work a job and then come home and I gotta cook, I gotta this, I gotta that, I gotta that. It's a full-time career for me and women like me. And we don't have anything else to do but keep the house rolling. If you have to keep a house rolling and a man rolling and the kids rolling and the domestic functions rolling, it's too much. Like you said, it's a lot.
Allison, if you're watching, you turn off right now. You cut this show off.
My mind can't even figure out how I would make it all work because it's too much.
Well, that's why you need that.
Especially for a man that doesn't contribute enough.
I think this is where I think you need, and not you or you or you. But you need to find the right partner that's going to pitch his part in and contribute in a way that is beneficial to you, the marriage, the kids, all of that. There's no reason you shouldn't have room and space to have hobbies. There's no reason you should be the only one doing laundry. I mean, there's not the only reason you should be the only one emptying the dishwasher. Like, these things aren't hard.
How many married women have hobbies? I know them.
Well, how many people have hobbies?
Right, most people.
I think it's people.
You know,
watching Breaking Bad ain't a hobby.
But Brian, I think until you date a man, this is the only way you know this. There is definitely a delta between what you all think is helpful and what you're actually doing.
And what
there's a major delta.
Mm-hmm.
There's a major delta because I've definitely heard many women like talk about their husbands like their husbands say they're helpful, but they may do one thing with the kids and then they disappear to Fortnite or whatever.
What we're saying is helpful, and what's helpful to you
there's a delta.
So there's got to be, to your point, we've got to meet there.
Yeah,
I can't just say, "Yep, I did kids' homework last week and I'm out." That's not how this should operate. I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm just saying that's not how it should.
I guess what I would push back on is I agree with you, but you have to be able to get your partner. And I think to your overall point, right? Your partner has to be able to be receptive to the idea that they need to contribute more. Mm-hmm. And I guess the question is, how many of us are dealing with men who are self-aware enough to be able to receive
Jamal,
that you're not pulling enough of your weight?
I hear you, Jamal. They saying that we are so needy and that they need to carry us so far that they don't have time for no hobbies. That's what they saying, brother.
But look, I have not been married. I have been engaged, and I've had a lot of boyfriends.
Communication is the key, Yolanda.
But even having a boyfriend requires a lot of management that is mind-boggling on occasion.
Let me tell you something. And I want to get Keisha and Jen back in here because I know Jen chomping at the bit. So we'll get her back in here. Let me tell you know why we don't always have the energy to do all those things? Because we got to deal with y'all asses. Men in the chat, let's go. We got to deal with your emotional shit all the damn time. We got to bring. Men are more emotional than women. We got to bring the whole. This motherfucker had a whole engineering degree from U of I, a top 10 engineering school. It wasn't working. Let me tell you, if you got engineering, okay. Guess what? Then you got to wash them motherfucking drawers. Right?
I did.
It's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off. You got a whole engineering degree from U of I. You are engineering something.
Clearly, that wasn't important to him. He
clearly.
rather have engineer them fucking drawers clean.
I'm just saying. Jennifer, where you at? I know you got a lot. Come on.
I don't even know where to start.
Well, stop by how you got here.
Wait, Jennifer, taking notes. I already know.
Right here. So when I think about my life post divorce, I feel like Toya said, it's so much more full. I do so many more things, and I feel like I'm
because your kids are grown, Jennifer.
No. I am taking care of me. When you are in a relationship, you have to take time out to take care of somebody else. I've already said that I'm selfish, whatever. But also you find that you're holding these little silly conversations. So I thought back to my last serious relationship, and I was going on a vacation with my friends. And he was like, why are you going to that country? He didn't believe in traveling to countries with white people, where white people originated. So no European.
Nowhere? Only one continent.
That's what's out.
And so I was like, you're not invited anyway. So, but then I had a Final Four party, and y'all know I know a lot of people, right? I invited 75 people. I think Ryan was over there. 50 came.
Lightweight for you.
And he's like, so you know all these people? Nigga, I ain't fucking them. These are just my friends. So it's that type of neediness. First off, I'm social. I like to travel. I live a big life. And I think that what I have seen from men is that they want to diminish me. They want to make me small. And I ain't going. I'm simply not interested in making myself smaller to call you my husband. For what? I probably make more money than you. Nah, I said it there. I'm not doing it.
Jennifer, don't nobody want the fact that you make more money than throwing
Well,
it
the problem is,
Nobody
Brian,
wants that.
these men want you to be their mama. They want to be. They want you to be their mama, while they be your daddy, and you got to do what they say. Like, I'm not doing it. I just don't. I'm not interested in losing myself, and that's really what happened in my marriage. Like, I lost myself being his wife. I don't want that. I want to be Jennifer Lee. And if you are willing to take me as I am, I'm going to get on the airplane. No, you're not always invited. I'm going to spoil my children and do dumb shit. No, you can't come. No, I'm not spoiling your kids. You go spoil your kids. Your daughter like Beyonce? Oh, well. Me and my daughter go see Beyonce every concert. Your daughter can't come unless you give me some money. So it's that type of stuff. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not interested.
Clarence, they make us sound like Thanos, brother. I swear to God.
Y'all are
It's like
needy.
Y'all not Thanos. Y'all more like Baby Yoda.
Hold on. I gotta ask this question. It's 5 women. Yeah. It's just me right now. I gotta ask this question. Who right now has a man?
How are we defining man?
Has not married, has a man,
I'm
a
not a
boyfriend.
guest on this show.
I said 5, motherfucker. That includes you. Thank you.
I got a man.
2 out of the 5. Correct?
We always got friends.
Keisha, your hand up. Wait, Keisha, your hand up.
I always got a friend. I got a friend. I have a friend.
Okay, so Jennifer got a friend. All right.
I got a whole
And you got a whole relationship, and so does Sean.
But I bet you, if I was married to him, yesterday I cooked for him. Today he cooked for me. I bet you I'd be cooking all the time.
I bet you if we got married, I would have to carry his ass. The man already set the precedent of what he gonna do. Y'all are awful. So I'm done. I'm 5 minutes with no talking.
Never had a man. Don't have
Good luck with that. What do you mean you're not talking for 5 minutes?
It's also so you have to tiptoe around the male ego because men are so sensitive.
Exactly.
An example of that. What'd you say, Toya?
I'm giving y'all space to speak. This ain't sensitive.
Anyway, let's go to the next question, right? Because I
have a.
Keisha got something.
No,
I'm sorry.
And Keisha was spitting history. Let her talk.
but I happen to disagree with the ladies because from what I've seen in marriage, for one, there has to be marriage is bound by God. So there has to be a foundation. God has to be the foundation. And then when you're married, there should be balance. So I'm a HR director. So I'm able to be HR director. I have a son in high school. I have a son in elementary school. Both my boys play sports. I cook and clean every day, and I cook from scratch. And when I was in a relationship, I maintained my man. I still have my relationship with my friends. So I think it's all about balance. I didn't make it all about me because I still made time for me while still making time for my family and maintaining my home and maintaining my man and still having a full life. I was able to
hold on now. Keisha's a God-fearing woman. She makes dinners from scratch, and she's an HR director. Brothers, y'all better come on now, somebody. Keisha, where you live?
I live in the south suburbs.
South suburbs of Chicago? All right, brothers, get them DMs. Go ahead.
Here's what I haven't really given much of an opinion. I won't, but I am somewhere between Jen and Keisha as far as like how relationships work. I do agree with Brian. You do have to have somebody that matches your energy. But relationships in general are work. They just are. And that doesn't mean it's bad work. And I work for a living.
And relationships, when I say relationship with your parents,
relationship
with siblings, relationship with all relationships.
All relationships.
Just making sure we stay in that. Okay.
But is that person worth the amount of work that you have to put into them? It's, to me, is the question you need to be asking yourself.
I'm just telling you.
Because some people are.
I'm telling you guys, I was raised to get married. I was proposed to, got married twice. The guy I dated seriously after my second divorce asked me to marry him. The guy I'm dating now wants me to marry him. There's a formula to that. However,
nigga, what is between your legs, Ty? Lord have mercy.
It's my pot roast.
Don't ever feed it to me.
Bring that pot roast in here. I want to taste this pot roast.
But you know, it's the 3 F's. talk about that later. We talk about that later. But
Well, what 3 F's?
Said,
Say it
feed
again.
Y'all
him,
never heard of that's very southern.
feed him, fuck
feed him,
him,
fuck him, and flatter him. And that's
They
catered
say that
to
down
Deprioritizing
there.
Shut the fuck up. Can we get a fourth?
But
And
that's
that's start with an F.
but that's the like
Flattering.
maintain his ego, just flattering, like maintain his ego. But that's a lot of work. And so when men talk about they can't keep a man, they can't keep a man. You can't keep a man. 3 F's will keep a man. You said just simple. They are. But those simple things take a lot of work.
It's effort.
And some people want to do that. And it's like, okay, well, for the constant, sure companionship, I'm going to do that. Well, I'm still fine. I'm gonna have companionship, so I don't know, but do I need to do all that work? No. But that is how you keep a man. Some people say, you keep a man, do I want to keep the man?
I want to ask this. I've been quiet on the questions. No, I
Shit.
haven't. No, I haven't.
Shit.
No, I haven't. But we touched on this earlier, and I want to circle back to it. We were talking about what the difference is between our parents and our grandparents, probably more so our grandparents, and I think we all can agree. And Keisha touched on it beautifully. At the end of the day, we're talking about money. At the end of the day, that's what we're talking. We're talking about who can afford to do what and move in what ways.
Our grandmothers didn't have the right.
This is what I'm saying. So they didn't have the options to move that way, right? So my question is, all of you all seem to be fairly successful ladies. We got directors and high price motherfucking nannies and people with engineering degrees that didn't have to use these motherfuckers. You
You were really stuck on that shit.
I can't believe if I had anyway. My ass
Like you like a
like-
record with a scratch in it.
Look,
What's
look,
happening?
if I went to U of I and I didn't even graduate, I can't believe she got an engineering degree. So are financial implications a huge part of why you don't want your relation? You don't feel the necessity to, and Tahani's already kind of spoke on this, to be in a relationship with a man, be married to a man, because financially you really don't need a man.
I can't say I think that if I needed more money, I probably would. The financial security of being married. But I can say, on the flip side of that, being single, I think men want to spend their money on you. They want to give you money. They want to do stuff.
That's our power.
That my
mine.
ex-boyfriend bought me a car. I have the title. Men they want you to need them.
Yeah, I don't want that pot roast. I'm good.
Men want you to need them, and
You better bring me some of this pot roast. I swear to
Okay.
God,
I
want
need a
some
little
pot
pan. I buy all the ingredients. Just put your
roast. I don't
man.
want all of it. I just want us to taste. Just a taste.
Baby.
but men want to spend their money. So if you that security and having a 2-income household is a way to build wealth, is a way to secure your children's future. It definitely is so many financial benefits to being married. So if you weigh the good and the bad, that's why women stay in horrible marriages, because you're gonna have more with 2 incomes in the house than 1 income. What if somebody
his income and your no income?
That part. I mean, that's true. Anyway, so I think there are a lot of positives to marriage. I don't think everybody should avoid marriage, but I don't think it's a requirement for women. I don't like it when men or women fall prey to it, women being judged by if they have a marriage, if they have a husband, if they have a man. That's not the value of a woman, but men want it to be our value, and women fall into that. And then women will stay in horrific relationships or draining relationships. They won't be the best they can be, whatever. Things don't turn out well. But for some people, they're like, eyes wide open. I choose it. It's best for me and how I see my future or how I want my children to be. And they choose it, and that's fine. If you want to be married, great. I don't like it that society, we reward, oh my God, you're married, that's so great, you're more valuable than single women. I don't agree with that.
Tahani?
Okay, wait. Now, what was the question? Because we did 2 different topics.
We did.
Here, so
Well, we bouncing
the
around,
money
but the
part,
question,
but then some
but the real question is, does the factor of finances, is this why women today, because you've clearly made your way and Black women are more degreed and is that a reason why
Yeah, when you asked, I had a really good point to make. Men see it as women, like I hear this all the time, and it bugs me because I don't just like nanny for fancy people. I was a teacher on the West Side Bay, at varying levels in our communities. I don't care what your BS polls say. Black women tend to out earn the men that they date more times than not, even in the ghetto, out west and out south. This girl gonna do hair. She gonna get her stamps. She gonna, work a little job at Family Dollar or something, and then she's gonna have Tyrone or Pookie on her couch, sucking up all her and her kids' resources, right? So she's still out earning,
Come on,
outperforming
Tyrone.
him. Yet on social media, she's a gold digger because she want me to bring a bag of groceries. But you've been laying up all week, Pam, playing the PS5 that she hustled to buy her son, right?
Goddamn, Clarence.
That's
You just said the
ghetto
PS5
level.
earlier. She just bust you out.
Now on the bougie or middle class level, still you see sisters. She's a teacher, but she done went and got that reading certificate. She's, got her master's, and the master's on top of the reading that. And so now she's making 20 or 30,000 more than other teachers. And then she's got a man that might make 70,000 to her 110, calling her a gold digger because she expects at least something on the mortgage, right? A house that she bought in her 30s, because again, Black women on varying levels are out earning
Who
the
are
men.
these men?
You can
I do
cite a
think there are a lot
status.
of
I actually know,
But
a
I've
girl
seen
who
it.
God
to do that.
damn.
I've seen it at so many different levels, from the hood to the highlands and the burbs where I grew up.
Yeah,
That is a constant. I mean,
I know some very successful women. They out earn their husbands.
they out
Well, out earning what she's saying is too
out
totally
earning,
different.
but a lot of sisters will, and I ain't talking to nobody specific, but they out earn their men and they overcompensate for those men, and they just want a warm body. They just want a legitimate baby. They just want the optics of having a partner.
Mhm.
But then we're told all the time, oh, we're, gold diggers and we're seeking money and we're this and that. When a lot of times quiet as is kept, no matter what it looks like, a lot of sisters are out here taking care of men. And in being, reduced to someone that has to be taken care of, Black men tend to, as Cutten's best friend Jen said, they want to diminish us. They want you to not be as big as you are, as beautiful. Don't wear that red lipstick with your chocolate skin, because I don't think you should. Baby, I'm beautiful. I'm going to put every color that lip balm everybody else make on, right? How dare you try to diminish me in that way? You're mad that I can afford to do XYZ with my friends and my kids. That's what you're mad at. You're mad that you aren't paying the lion's share of these bills. But in order to overcompensate for your insecurities, you got to tell me what I can and cannot put
tamper
on,
you down,
where I can't go. And that's what I fear as far as financial, because I don't care what status everybody has argued with me and put up charts. Where I sit in varying communities, it's always a sister doing a little more than a brother. It always seems to be that. And in doing that, knowing that I'm not likely to meet, and I mean, I ain't rich as y'all. Like I said, I'm a 6-figure babysitter, barely, kicking it in the money club. But the likelihood of me meeting a Black man that'll make 100,000 plus doing a fancier job, is very, very slim. And because I'm gonna have to date down financially, I can't date down, dumb down, be crushed. It's too much for me to hold. It really is. And I don't mind dating down. I mind the attitude that comes with dating down.
Well, I don't like the term dating down. I don't like the term dating down.
It is what it is.
But I don't like the term dating down. But you make a very interesting point when you speak on it like that. Jen, I'm gonna shoot to you, and then Keisha, I want you back in. Downing, right? Like, I don't like the dating down, because
I don't figure out.
I know what you're saying.
But, you know what I'm trying.
I don't know what you're
to say.
saying, but
Somebody you out earn.
No, not even just out earn.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. But you can't then, to your point, I love this. You can't then say, I make less than you. I'm emotionally less mature than you. I do less in the house than you. Down, right? Everything can't be down. A brother got to lift you up
a little bit. Just a little bit.
I
that's
really
a good
don't
point.
believe women should be with men who they out earn. I don't think that dynamic.
You shut the fuck up, Jen. I want to hear your point, Jennifer.
Brian, you've been all over the place. What's the damn question?
I don't know. It don't matter.
Welcome to In the Zone Podcast.
I want to address one thing. So I'm looking at the comments, and what I see, and this happens to me all the time, and it's more annoying than men telling me, is women saying, oh, well, you just haven't met the right one, or you need to change this, you need to change that. I was married for 17 years, ladies. I know what marriage is. My parents were married after my father died. I know what marriage is. what I see for my life and the life that I'm living, it is very difficult to do in a relationship. He would have to be a spectacular, giving, thoughtful man that is allowing me to do the things that I feel makes me happy, having hobbies, taking trips without him, spending money on my kids, going to see my mama 5 times a year in a different state with or without him. All of those things require a level of conversation and compromise that I'm not willing to do. So for all the women that's out there saying, oh, you haven't, stop. I'm very smart. I've thought about this. The ROI, I'm healthier, I make more money, I'm happier than I ever was married, ever. Even the beginning stages of marriage, we were having kids, buying houses, opening restaurants. I have never been this happy and complete. And that's really the word I want to use, complete. I'm so much more complete. I'm more than being somebody's wife and somebody's mother. And I think I'm insulted. It pisses me the fuck off when somebody who I know you can tell how smart I am will question my reasoning. Trust me when I tell you this is something I've thought about. I've been in a lot of relationships as a single lady. And what I can tell you 100% for sure is that it is a lot of work being in a relationship. And I am not willing to do it at this stage of my life. Now, in 5 years from now, when I'm 60 something, I won't be 60 something in 5 years. In 5 years from now, when I'm in my late 50s and maybe I'm slowing down and I'm going to be a grandma, hopefully, then maybe. But at this stage.
Oh, when you get old,
right.
That pussy don't get as wet as it used to. Now you want to marry a motherfucker.
Then maybe.
Oh
Today, with this wet, you know what? I'm going to just have fun.
Look, Astro Glide. That's all I got. Astro Glide.
There are ways.
Yo, dusty ass pussy. Nobody want that shit then. Sorry. Keisha, the question was, as a director of HR, does your financial status...
You're really enjoying that.
I am. Does your financial status make you wanting a relationship with a man less desirable, less important?
No. Men by natures are maintainers. So you have to go into the situation understanding that the likelihood is you'll be making more money than your man. But if your man is secure in who he is, and you're not looking to have him come in and maintain your life based on his income, but you all create a middle ground where you're both happy, like he's not mooching off of you, you're not supporting him, but you all have maintained a lifestyle where your income and his income meet somewhere in the middle. I think that'd be a better scope. I don't ever want to go into a situation where I'm bringing the baggage from my previous relationship. Oh, he didn't work. Oh, he didn't do this. He didn't make this kind of money. And then bring this into a new situation with someone new who may not feel that way about money, or he may not make as much money than me. It's not a lot of men that I know who are in HR, who are on the same scope as me when it comes to income, but they're secure in who they are. And they understand what they bring to the table, and happiness supersedes money for me.
You know what? Next show, I'm gonna get me a bunch of rich brothers up here and talk, so we can talk about making money. Y'all don't want. Y'all keep saying y'all make more money than others. Nah.
I don't talk to men that make more money than I don't do that. I don't think that.
I would say statistically, y'all do make more than us.
Statistically, but
they say that, but I've yet to
it's
see
4
it
cents
in
more
real
per
life.
hour. That's what it is.
It's not a lot.
Like,
I've
4
heard
cents more per hour.
So what you saying that toy is 4 cents that they be posting
right.
about?
Yes.
Right, it's 4
Oh,
cents.
come on,
She
man.
right,
I
it's
didn't
4
know that.
It's
now.
4 cents.
For
It's
I
4
know.
cents.
I was like, it's just 4 cents.
It's just 4 cents.
And I
But it's more. Damn it.
the way they post
That's a
that
whole
quote,
$2,000 a year.
and that's taxes or something. You know, like really?
A whole $2,000 a year.
Get us back on. What else you got? We got
I don't
100
even know
million
what it
questions.
was. We do not.
It was
Yeah,
good.
girl,
Now,
ChatGPT
y'all
Social
gave you
media,
30
it
questions.
really did. Actually, it was Copilot. But let's talk about social media. We're all on social media. I'm gonna assume all of us. You didn't even ask me the question. I forget you.
I didn't. Oh.
You did not ask.
You're right. I did not ask you,
What
Sean.
was the fucking question?
Sean,
Something about money.
When you now that you built your fabulous house and
I didn't build it. I remodeled it.
Whatever the
I
case may
rehabbed
be.
it, but I didn't build it.
Now that you got your fabulous house and you're making all these hundreds of thousands of dollars, was money a factor in your relationship or non-relationship status?
Like, did I take money into consideration?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Did I answer that too quick?
No.
But I think, okay, know I've said this on the show before. I think people lie. That includes the people with the penises. I think people lie when they say they do not consider money when they are dating people.
Shit.
That is a total and complete lie. Now, I'm not saying
You can afford that too. Leave it alone.
I'm considering that shit.
I'm not
I'm
saying.
considering it. Okay.
Are you crazy? I'm absolutely
I thought you were
considering
saying
that.
you don't.
I'm not
Shit.
saying
It's
that
a big part of the equation.
men need women to be making six figures, right? I'm not saying that.
You should say it, Sean.
But men do expect you to be able to maintain your own life.
Mm-hmm.
And that requires money. And
Well, you were maintaining your own life before me, right?
Precisely. So and they have to be able to appreciate the life you've built for yourself, right? If you, and this is no shade to anybody in this category.
This is total shade.
If you
when somebody
live-
prefaces
About
with
to
this,
be so shady.
this is shade.
It's about
If
to be
you
messy,
work-
too.
a $8 an hour job and your lifestyle reflects an $8 an hour lifestyle, and you meet a man who makes significantly more, he's not going to be impressed with you in your $8 an hour life. Not unless he just really appreciates some other aspect of you. Men do care about money. Maybe not to the extent of women, but they do care. So yes, did money matter when I started dating who I date? Yes, it did. Is it the foundation of why we date? Of course not. But we do match. We are able to travel. He likes to travel more than I do. Thank God I make money, because I definitely would have been dumped if I couldn't. So yes, those things do matter in order for people to be able to have the life and the lifestyle that they want to have. I think it's crazy when people try to push back on that.
I think there are successful men who would not. They won't date down. They won't date a woman who's not educated, who's not successful, who's not. They don't want to be seen with her. Where are they going to fit in? We go to galas, but your girl got. She a cashier. She gonna sit
Especially
at the table with us.
Especially if
No.
they are in leadership positions, and I mean like VPs, SVPs, CEOs.
See, you ain't lying. When you
they
start with no
care.
shade, it's a fucking Willow Tree, no doubt.
They care what your degree is.
Yep.
They care about your family background. They care how you. I used to date a guy who went to GSB. It's no longer GSB, but that is the graduate, the MBA program at U of C. One of the reasons he said he didn't date me is because he thought if he took me to a party, I would not be able to operate in the party.
Because you went to Bogan?
But
I believe that's true.
I did not go to Bogan, but that's
She
not
went
the
to
Bowen.
Bowen.
I know what it is.
I don't even explain it no more. It could be whatever high school they say it is. Harlan, I don't care. But no, so those things matter. Men in leadership positions.
How you present in the world
matters.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you all have met me. I would be fucking fabulous in that kind of room, but I digress.
no, I too dated a booth boy. Like, it does not and shout out to Booth. I think he manages hedge funds or something crazy. Dumb paid, right? Fancy pants, super smart.
Get his ass whooped right now. Let's go.
Girl, yeah, I should. God bless his new wife, because the stress of the market now.
Yeah.
But those guys, once you got to define wealth and status where they are, because in the world that I work and live in, as well as some of my past conquests, I was a teacher's aide dating a C-suite executive, right? Teacher's aide on the West Side. Had career, and
This is a good point.
Teeth are wonky.
I see where you're going.
Like, yes, I know how to operate in certain environments because, hey, dad plays golf. I can maintain at the driving range and not look goofy. But I don't consider myself to be super, super bouge or super hood. I dance the line somewhere in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was still able to date a now hedge fund manager. I've dated, C-suite executives like it's nothing, of varying races. So men, if they just like you, they'll like you. Real men are not super concerned with finances so much as they're concerned with other measures that contribute to their life in a significant way.
That's fair.
But let me say.
Hold on.
Okay.
Because I think that's true. But I think there's a line of delineation there,
Yeah.
right? I think I make $200,000. It matters how you operate in this room with me. I make $3 million a year. Maybe not as much. Because I'm already paid. These motherfuckers think they want to think. I'm already doing what I want to do.
Y'all saw what Kelsey Grammer did.
Yeah. So
if you know, you know.
Yeah. So it's I think there's a I don't know what that dollar amount is, but I think there's a dollar amount that says I make enough to not have to worry about it, and there's a level below that says, I make enough, but I still got to work.
I think if you're on the climate matters, I think if you reached that, then it doesn't matter anymore.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
But typically, those people don't revolve in the same circles, so you can't even do a comparison. So the people who are, you know, the upper echelon when it comes to money don't typically mingle with people who aren't on the same level as them.
Yeah, but if I make $3 million a year, I'm just pulling money out my ass now. I still got to walk in Walgreens to get my prescription, right? Maybe I don't. Maybe I pay somebody to do it. But let's say I'm the dude that did like to walk in and get, you know what I'm saying, to get my whatever, you know what I'm saying, my vitamins, and I pay it for myself or whatever. And it's a fine ass cashier there. I mean, you still got to move around in the real world.
Yes, you data, but you be serious.
And also, you have to think about, like, so this is what I think about: who's going to work on the math problems with my children? So one of the benefits of being married to an engineer like Toya was that when my kids had problems with math, physics, this man could just go and do it. I couldn't be married to a dummy. Like, who gonna teach my kids on subjects that I'm not great at?
If he a rich dummy, he paid for a fucking tutor.
Your kids are grown. Who cares?
No, today. But I'm saying that when you're at $3 million, you may not be thinking about that. But you also want
ChatGPT will take. Oh, it's Clarence beat me to it. ChatGPT will take care of it.
You want somebody that could be a good parent to your kids.
So I was going to say, there are things that we do, there are events that we go to, you see the same people over and over, there are vacations that we take, you see the same people over and over. And the women there are similar to each other. No dude is there with a woman who is a cashier, who didn't graduate from college. It just doesn't happen. And when people think it's about looks, there are beautiful women who are successful and well-educated. So they're probably not meeting. Maybe they might see a pretty girl, but they saw some pretty girls in their lane. I think people are more likely to be in their lane. And I can tell you for sure that when we are at these different events and these different organizations, the women are more similar. They very rarely dissimilar.
Absolutely.
There's not a range of us. So, you know, I think people forget that.
I love when I go to the assembly Christmas party.
Yeah.
And I gotta go one of these.
And it's the one standout girl. It's like, this motherfucker's not like the rest. Let me talk to her.
That's a go thing. Hey, that looks like a party.
There's like a party. She got a full sleeve and a nose ring. Let me go holler at her.
She's probably the most fun person in the goddamn room.
This is why I would go to a
And she's somebody new. She wasn't an assemblyman's date. That's all I'm saying. She not a wife.
That's how she probably not a wife.
She's not a wife.
That's probably.
All right, where you want to go, sir?
You were about to go somewhere and I cut you
off. Social media. And now I forgot the fucking question.
God damn, that was my bad.
It really was. Actually, we probably need to be wrapping up. But social media. Everybody on here is on it, right? And I've seen most of you guys express your opinions about being independent, being not so focused on having a man or being married. Those things are there, as we've disclosed, but they're just not top of mind. Like, how do you think those conversations go with men? I know how they go with men.
I'm sorry, which conversation?
You talk very openly, like, I'm fine, I don't need you, I'm good. What do those conversations look like on social media with other men? And it may be other women. I don't know.
We already not. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We could dig into it a little.
Go ahead.
I know Toya be fucking reading their ass to right.
That's why you look right at Toya. Come on. We got the right ones on this show.
I say all the stuff because I don't like how men talk about, and so men have called me overweight. They called me ugly. Oh, it's crazy shit. Like ghetto. I got called ghetto. I didn't know my daddy. It is awesome because they're used to talking down to a certain type of woman. First of all, I'm not that woman. So I'm about to tell you some things. And I say it unabashedly. And then what do? Go look at my page because now you look stupid. And I get so harsh because they're so harsh to women who may not feel like they can say anything back or may not say enough back. So they need to shut the fuck up.
Do you think their harshness, because I don't disagree, those are they can be very intense conversations. Do you think their harshness is really because they believe the fantasy of what women should be, or are they uncomfortable with the idea that potentially women may not be as invested in them and relationships as they may be with relationships with us.
For sure. They want, just like the women, it's this whole paradigm that women buy into, that men buy into, men need it, and women buy into it, that their value depends on how men view them. If a man thinks that you're attractive or valuable or desirable, if you can get a man, if you can keep a man, if you got a man, like this, that's this value that men want.
That's her man calling her now.
That men want women to buy into, and women buy into it. You know, like Jen was saying, there's some women in the chat talking about, well, you haven't met the right person. What if you did meet the right person? Doesn't mean you want to be with him and want him living in your house and putting his clothes in your closet. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, don't use my bathroom.
Not sharing a closet being crazy. God damn.
The closet ain't big enough for my clothes.
Not for your clothes.
But there are some good things. I mean,
not because your clothes are big. You
relax,
have so many.
Relax. I know
if
what
you
you're
want to
saying.
have kids, I think you should try it. I think marriage is for you. If you don't have kids, I think single, unmarried, no kids women have the best. That's the best thing. I have 3
Jesse,
kids,
you right.
so it's not me. But unmarried, no kids, that's an amazing life to live for a woman. Men need women because they die off. They don't take care of themselves.
So you say, hold on.
I'm with you when you're right, Toya.
You ain't wrong.
Y'all gonna die alone.
So women are better off single
with no children,
with grown or no children.
That's the life.
And no man to be seen.
No, I didn't say no man.
I'm just clarifying.
No, I like having a man. Somebody got
no husband to be seen.
Right. Don't live around. You know, because we're social creatures. I really like men. Men are funny and witty, sarcastic. They keep it going. Like, I really like men. They carry heavy stuff. They drive, all these things.
Kill spiders.
We need them.
Wait a minute.
Listen.
Wait.
The
list of things she like about me is carry heavy stuff.
They open those jars.
Fucking dead.
Hold on. Real talk. I work with my workplace is full of women, gang women. I'm usually the only dude in the space in a lot of meetings. Frankly.
And they need you to open stuff, don't you?
Listen, I tell you what, the goddamn the other day, the water, you get the water dispenser thing that's plugged into the wall. Has like 2 hoses or whatever. That shit popped out and it was water going every place. And it was 10 women. They looked right at me. I was like, I mean, but then I went and fix the shit. But this was amazing. When we find value. Sorry. Keisha, get back in here. I need some sanity, Keisha. You got the same space. Come on.
I forgot the goddamn question.
You know, Keisha heard some.
Social media. Like, what are the conversations on social media about this? When you do talk about this, what does that look like? Do you get a lot of opposing views? If you do, what do those look like? I mean, just to be clear, because Jesse did point that out, there are women who share, and there are many women who use these same targeted, you can't keep a man, you just need to find a good man, blah, 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 right? What do those conversations look like on social media when you are talking about how you are focusing on yourself? And if somebody comes along, then fantastic. If not, you will still have a good life.
Social media gives you the opportunity to have a broad spectrum of different, opinions, but people are entitled to their opinions. I think it's good to have different views when it comes to relationships because you're not necessarily always correct. But for me, I use it as a sounding board. I put a lot of stuff up on social media when it comes to relationship just to get different viewpoints. Does it necessarily mean that it applies to my life? No, but people view things in different ways. I don't believe in, like she said, the right person, but he wasn't the right person for her. So then what makes him right? Because it's almost, how is he right, but he's not right for long term. I just don't believe that actually goes together. If I do find someone, I want someone that comes to the table with the things, like I said, the boundaries that I set up, the expectations I set into place, who's looking to build a life with me, a happy life. I don't believe in that stereotype that women are comfortable being alone. but that also plays into what was produced. It was manufactured for the man to be removed from the home. So now women are comfortable with that, but that's not the natural state of men. Men should be in the home. The balance of the home is a man and a woman to raise the children. That's just the natural state. So when a woman says she wants to be by herself, there's something missing in that puzzle.
Well,
Come on.
Please come back to me.
come on, Jennifer. Come on, Jennifer Lee.
So I'm trying to think of how I can say this in the most clear, concise way, because I keep hearing the same things, and I'm reading the comments and I am boiling. So first off, Toya and I have already been married. We have kids. Our kids are grown. So when you hear, especially a divorced woman say to you that she feels like her life is complete, why is there doubt? And so when you're on social media and you hear comments from women and men doubting that your life can be complete, I think it's something wrong with those people, because to me, my life is complete by myself. If I add somebody, he's just adding to my life. He's not completing me. I am complete. I am 100% a person by myself with my own goals, dreams, hopes, desires. And so it's offensive. It is so offensive to hear people think that it's something wrong with you when you are completely happy by yourself. I think it's something wrong with people who can't be happy by themselves, because at the end of the day, the man could die, or you can get, I mean, who would have told me that I would have divorced my high school sweetheart? I did. And I built a life for myself that is so much better than any life he ever could have given me. And so for that, I'm so proud of myself, but also I don't feel like I need this person. And so would having somebody here who let me do all the crazy things I want to do, would that be okay? Yes. But do I want him in my closet? Like Toya said, I like to sleep alone. I don't want you in my bed all the time. Like, I'm funny acting. I would, as I get older, I'm even more funny acting. So I want people, the social media side, to stop arguing with women when they say they are complete. Let us be complete. Yeah. Please.
You know, Jen, what I noticed though, like I have a couple of good swords. They are my age, a little bit older. I'll be 53 this year. They're my age, a little bit over, never married. And so they don't know. My little brother told me they haven't been chosen. Really sexist, whatever. But it's something to that, because they are like, man, if I could just get a man, that would be fill out my life. They've had the single thing, they haven't had the marriage thing, so they can't compare it. It's like women who had kids in their 30s. Oh, I couldn't have had kids younger. I had kids in my 20s. Yeah, you probably could have. I had kids in my 20s. I had a kid at 40. It's better in your 20s, but they don't know. They say, oh no, that wouldn't, but you don't know.
Right.
And so they'll
can't speak on what you don't know.
Right. And so never married women who want to get married and they haven't got married, or who wanted to get married and they haven't got married, then they're going to say things that sound crazy to us because they don't have a comparison.
That's fair.
I think for me, social media has like done me in, because no one.
Wait, social media's done you in.
Yeah, as far as like dating goes.
You do know we see your comments, right?
No one
for the past decade. What are we doing right now?
When I say it's always this visceral, like emotional, crazy response. Everyone assumes white guys are my preference. They're not. Being treated well is my preference, right?
Well, you've been super clear about that.
Actually. But no matter how clear I am, how many disclaimers I post, Jamal has posted 5 comments about we're talking about white guys being better. Like, you can't listen to Jamal, right? And so in that, and then y'all know last summer I'm still getting random messages and craziness about the $50 retainer dater. That wasn't even my idea. It was Benita, another in the zoner, Facebook group, famous person. It was her idea.
You just activated.
I just actually activated it. I got active, right? And to this day, like earlier today, I'm baking banana bread and telling a guy that he can't pay $50 for my body, right? And so in that, I come back to the fact that like social media has been damning for me personally, because no one wants to get to know me as a person. No one can comprehend the fact that I like being treated well and I don't discriminate with who treats me well because I have standards. My dad treated me a certain way. My cousins treat me a certain way. All my male friends behave a certain way. So that is my standard and I'm not willing to reduce it because I'm chunky, I'm chocolate, I'm this, I'm that, right? And so guys don't see that. They're just like, no, you like white guys and so you deserve to be treated horribly. And it's like, no, I like going outside in public. Why would I want to drink coffee with you when I got to drink coffee to survive wrangling kids and jumping out of airplanes, right? So, yeah, because of social media and people not being able to read and comprehend at an adult level, it's made dating incredibly difficult, like incredibly difficult. If it don't apply, let it fly. But clearly it applies. So stay over there with your mess, you know?
You are extremely vocal on social media.
Just saying, like,
so maybe, and I'm not saying again to Jennifer's point, don't dim your light. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you should dim your light. I'm just saying maybe we should take a step back and see what, because sometimes, and I definitely agree with this. Sometimes you attract what you put out there. Don't put nothing out there for a second and see what comes your way.
On social media or just out?
No, on social media in particular.
Okay.
Because I think what people see you saying on social media, a lot of brothers are gonna be like, I'm gonna change my mind, or I'm gonna see where I can fit in, or I'm on some bullshit. Let me see if she sniffs my nonsense out. Just don't even give them an opportunity. Just do you, put your banana bread on there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Chill out and listen to some of that. These folks that aren't listening, aren't reading, aren't hearing what you're saying, because a lot of these cats are negative in and of themselves, and they're not attracted to what you're saying per se, but they're attracted to trying to conquer what you're saying. They're attracted to trying to dominate what you're saying, so they can come back and say, "Oh yeah, that's a honey chick. I got that. Blah blah blah. She wasn't talking that shit with me." Step back. Social media can be a bad tool.
Really, I've been quiet lately. Not because I don't love y'all and we paying attention. I've been like actually being a grown up and working.
You have been
and kind of trying to see what happens when you say less. So you raise a valid point. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I want to say that.
Oh, you're right too. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
It ain't that I don't love the zoners. I love you and Sean.
We know. We know.
You and
Elaine.
Oh my God, Elaine.
Their comments give me life.
I was gonna try to get Elaine on the show, and I said, "Nah, we don't need that much. We got enough going on."
That's what I meant by the travel sister. Yes, her. She's like,
I think you missing this clearly.
She is hilarious.
She's
hilarious.
She's fire.
She goes.
She goes.
I don't spend enough time in the zone.
No, this ain't just in the land is all over there.
Oh, I'm about to go.
She pretty chill in our group, but.
So she over in
go to conversations. Elaine got a group of posts every 20 minutes in conversations.
Oh, I'm about to go look.
Yeah, go look. She be giving them fire.
What's
up, Keisha? I'm sorry, Keisha Sunshine. She was in the chat. I'm sorry.
A lot of guys think, you hate men, or Elaine hates men, or somebody hates. Nobody hates men. Some of these losers, these incels, you guys are gross. But nobody hate. That doesn't mean people hate men.
Right. You hate those men.
Right. You're stupid. But I don't know. And I am very friendly in a fake way, but I smile a lot.
Can't see that on the internet, boo. Can't see that on the internet.
I'm supportive and everything. I say.
Here comes Jamal.
She fucking light them motherfuckers up.
I say really
every day. I'll be like, God damn.
That's Jamal.
I love black men.
Jamal just trolls.
Troll.
That is troll.
Jamal and Clarence and whoever Durante is. Durante.
No.
Durante horrible stuff.
Durante believes that shit. Jamal don't believe it. I don't think Clarence believes all of it.
No, Clarence is a self-proclaimed
But
troll.
Durante believes that shit. He said.
What is he in that? Well, I'll go read it later.
Right.
Yeah, let's
land this plane.
Amazing. We haven't got to half the questions, and I'm cool with that.
It was like 10,000. Jetty, co-pilot was co-pilot.
Co-pilot was co-pilot. Come on, let's wrap it up. What you want to wrap?
All right, so final question, and we'll start with the newbie. We have Gen Alpha kind of coming up the ranks, right? I think all of us have kind of, at least on some level, have divested from years of indoctrination of I gotta be a wife, right? On some level, not everybody's not at the same level. I think we've landed there, but we're not fully invested in pursuing or just being overly consumed with marriage, right? What kind of advice would you give Gen Alpha about, what you've learned, what they should focus on? Like, what are your last thoughts with them? Yes, Gen Alpha.
No. They don't know what Gen Alpha is.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're Gen X. The ones underneath us are the millennials / Gen Y. The one after that are Gen Zs. These are the ones coming into the workforce that y'all hate because they don't know how to act. Gen Alpha is the one after that. So my daughter is part of Gen Alpha, and we've actually had Gen Beta that just started this year. So that's Gen Alpha, the tweeny 8-year-olds. Like when they get to dating, what advice would you give them that you've learned?
Before we start that, Jen Lee, I just want to say, so my wife been texting me this whole show, and she says she 100% agrees with everything you're saying, and yes, she's married. This shit's scary, and I don't like it. All right, go ahead, ask the question.
Told you getting divorced. Anyway, Keisha, take us off.
They're adorable.
They are really cute together. All right, Keisha, go ahead and kick us off. What advice would you give Gen Alpha?
Well, my children are part of Gen Alpha. I instill the same values in my children that my mother instilled with me. Family first, take care of home. I have boys, so I tell my boys, you are the provider. You maintain your home. You don't come to the table with less than your woman, and you make sure that your woman is well taken care of. But also, as you're the provider, make sure that your woman is able to maintain the home, maintain the family, be a mother, a wife, those things, because those are the things I grew up with. That's what he sees. I want him to put that in his home. Both of my boys.
Got it. And thank you for coming on. So appreciate you coming and hanging out with this shit show we call
Come
ITZ.
on, Keisha, you dropped
Scare you too bad.
Keisha, you dropped jewels tonight, boo boo. We gonna have you back.
She gonna call all our people from Boyd like, guess the fuck I just did.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's enlightening to be able to give your perspective on relationships because a lot of times we don't get that opportunity.
Come on,
Perfect.
Keisha.
All right, Jen.
You couldn't have possibly went to Bogan.
I went to Bogan.
You're absolutely correct. She did not. Lord have mercy. Jennifer Lee, I know you were out to unload. So what you giving these kids? What advice you giving them?
So it's interesting because, like Keisha said, the conversation is different with boy and girl children. So with my daughter, I've said to her, she has a big life. She's very much like her mother. Get married if it suits you. Only if he is willing to let you be the rock star that you are. Like you didn't get all this education to go and not shine. So if you find somebody that lets you shine and who you love and who is willing to support you, then get married. If you want to have children, get married. I'm with Toya with that one. But I've also said if you have not been able to find a partner and you find that you want children, don't let marriage stop you. And with my son, the conversation is very similar to what Keisha said. You are a provider, you are a man, you are a leader. It is your job to get out there and make the bacon, but also to find a wonderful, I have Jack and Jill kids too. So they know what good wives look like. So make sure you find somebody who can support you and who can be a good mother to your kids.
That's not the same message you give your daughter. It's not the same message.
They're two different kids. She don't need to be
You
the provider.
Now,
She will be the provider because she's a boss, but she don't need to be.
Those messages are diversely different. All right,
I have a 13-year-old.
Whatever.
Let's
see what you say to Chase.
We're not talking about me right now. I'm just telling you what you told your daughter, what your son are not the same.
They're not.
You said it like they were. I'm just making sure we clear.
Y'all advice in the comments for Gen Alpha are the fucking piss. The piss.
The worst.
All right, Tahani.
Clarence ain't wrong.
So I've noticed with Gen Alpha, they seem to be better at this dating, relationship, and marriage thing. I'm the oldest at 41, but my youngest sibling, is in her late 20s, right? And she's engaged. The sibling right before her that's in her early 30s was engaged or whatever. And what I've noticed, and then like, most of my parents' kids or whatever all fall in that range, 30, let's say 33 to like 27. They are, and I was speaking, remember I told you I had this conversation with girlfriends at dinner recently, and I don't know if it's social media that has swayed them or if it's just seeing how horrible their older siblings and relatives relationships are in our 40s, but they are doing a great job. And I want to give that generation their flowers right now. They tend to be more responsible. Those young men, believe it or not, are way more mature, way more manly. They resemble my father and my grandfather more than the men that are 40 and 50. And I have to say that. I need that to be permanently stamped on YouTube.
She hates you, motherfucker.
Right? They don't have, and part of it, because we were discussing at dinner, like, is this performative? Because they want to put on social media, hey, look at this rock I got my girl, or, look at how we're taking these cute vacations, or I don't know if that's the motivation or if it's just, I don't really like how these older guys are always moving and, talking about 50-50 and doing a bad thing. So my advice would be continue to not be like the men of my generation. Sisters, continue to prioritize, your education, prioritize birth control, prioritize being a full self-care on TikTok, copying sister. Do all of that because it's working for you and it's working for your generation. I'm seeing all these sisters like, you know what? Oh, he don't want to plan today. He don't have to, because I'm in a position to make the best of my hood situation or the best of my bougie situation. And I can do that without a little guy. And them being so headstrong and truly independent, not fake independent like the women of my generation swearing that they wouldn't, but they do all the time, which is spoiled our men. The fact that Generation Alpha is like, I'm not. If you meet me where I am, I might. The fact that they have that mentality, it's made those young men, a lot of my younger cousins, my parents, it's made them step up. They're like, well, I can't step to this girl, whether she's from out west, out south, or Flossmoor, because she's so full in her own environment, she don't need me, and truly don't need me. But I want her to need me, so I'm going to do what it takes. And it's working. It's working very well. And anybody that argues with me, you're not around enough people in that age range, because what I'm saying can be, validated. So keep doing what you're doing, sisters. Keep doing you without them, because it's working. It's resulting in more engagements, more marriages, nicer kids, healthier kids.
Dear God, Toya.
No, you know what?
Toya about to burn this mud all the way down.
Y'all brokies.
So I don't believe in that male provider thing. I believe if you're gonna be married, then it's a partnership. I don't believe in 50-50, all of that. It's a partnership. So what are your best inputs? Put them in. What are your best inputs? Put them in. And I think that to be a wife, I want my children to know how to be a wife if the case they want to get married. So they know how to set the table, they know how to cook, they know how to entertain, they have polished manners, old-fashioned manners. And I teach them, be it your friendship, be it your relationship, you should make it better for somebody to be with you. If your girlfriend's just a group, it should be better because you're there. What are you doing to make it better? If you're on a date, it should be better because you're there. What are you doing to make it better? So that's how I was raised, and my daughters are like that too. They have amazing fathers that are, right there on. They treat me well. They are great men, and the men in our family, and they know what it looks like. And I teach them what their role is. Like, make it better. What are you bringing? Bring your best to relationships that you decide to deal with. If you decide to be in a relationship, bring your best, be it a friendship or an intimate relationship. And I don't believe in the leadership thing at all, because everybody should have their best inputs, and it should be a shared responsibility. But again, if my kids don't want to have children, I'm not pushing marriage. I don't think that's for them. I definitely don't think, the longer the marriage, the more successful it is. I don't know if that's true. So I want them to be fulfilled, happy, and well-rounded. And if that's in a marriage, great. If it's not, that's cool too. But I have a 13-year-old, and she wants a husband who can cook. So that's all I found out so far. So,
I mean,
she starts out on a solid ground.
gotta eat.
Gotta eat well if you can. But I think that's a crucial point. I think that's not just for men and or women. I think it's for everybody. Bring your best self in, and how do you elevate this relationship? I think that's dope.
I hate our comments. All right,
come on, you gotta love the comments because most people commented. Clarence, Jamal,
Leroy. I don't know who Leroy is.
I think Leroy believe that shit.
Married with a kid.
Leroy and Ross, they believe that shit.
All right.
And Clarence is
one
a
of
sweet
the
dude.
best.
Clarence
He's
is
an
fine.
example
Clarence
of
is great.
the good one.
All right.
Clarence.
I'm about to kind of trample on everybody's feedback, and I don't mean it to be disrespectful at all. Like, I legitimately don't. But here's the thing.
This is where she gets disrespectful.
Here we go.
We don't know what the hell we're talking about. I'm gonna tell Gen Z and Gen Alpha like I would tell a new mother. Every relationship is different. Everybody is different. Everything that we're saying may or may not work for you. Who the fuck knows? But you're gonna have to take it day by day, hour by hour, and figure it out. Because there are marriages made of all types of shit. Some people marry for love. Some people marry for money. Some people marry for companionship. Some people marry because they're supposed to. And all of our advice is not going to work for each one of those scenarios. So if you find somebody you like, good. Work it out with them. Figure it out. If you don't, that's okay too. Build a fantastic life. There's no reason that anybody should be unhappy, whether you are with somebody or with not. But my biggest advice was don't fucking listen to us and just go through the mud and figure it out. Sorry.
I mean, most people's sage advice is don't listen to nobody else's advice.
Yeah.
So that's not unfair. I'll say this. First of all, thank you, ladies. I love being surrounded by
this is his favorite.
Intelligent ladies. They got a lot
with money.
With some money. Come on now.
Where does money thing
Come on
from?
now. I don't care if you got $5 or 5,000. I love 50,000 or 100,000.
Brian loves the rich bitch.
Well, I love me some money, but no, I do appreciate Keisha, ITZ Virgin. Thank you for joining us. You dropped some jewels. Jen, as always, you out of town and joined us virtually. I appreciate you. You do your thing as always. Tahani, come on now. Come on, you devoted in, but you are valuable. And if you didn't have anything valuable to contribute, I would have ignored your ass in the comments.
That's true. That's true.
I do it
anyway.
I do it every week. I do it every week. Toya, thank you for coming on second time. Appreciate you. I didn't get no grits, but it's okay.
She gonna bring up pot roast next time.
Listen.
We're having dinner.
Hey, listen. If this time next year, me and Toya married, y'all know it was the pot roast. All right, Allison, don't let me eat this motherfucking pot roast. All right? But no, I will. I will say this. Thank you all for joining us. You all laid it down today. And to your point, to your question, to close it out, as I look at this younger generation, and I was saying this on the post. This young man that was running the house around, he comes through, he grabs the keys, and he says, "Hey, Miss Foster, respectful." I don't even know how to take that, but anyway, Miss Foster,
you old?
I'm old. I am old. Hey, Foster, I got my, can I get these keys? Blah blah. I want to. So as I'm leaving, he's got his girl in the car blindfolded.
See what I mean, Brian?
He's got his girl in the car blindfolded to bring them to their new home.
Aww.
Flowers, balloons, the whole situation, right? As I think about my son, who has his girlfriend, got an apartment together, Oak Park. He is so invested. They are so, to Tahani's point, these ladies are raising the bar, and hopefully these young men are meeting them at their level. And that's all I can hope for the younger generation, right? We've gone through our struggles and trials and tribulations at our age, right? As our parents did and as the people underneath us did. But I'm hoping that these 20-somethings, these tweens, right? The level is different. The expectations are different. The men, young men, boys at this point, teens, they understand that a young lady's going to have her own and you got to meet her where she's at. And it's not about dragging her down to where you at. And that hopefully raises the bar for all of us as Black young men and Black young women. That's what I'm hoping.
Okay.
So will it matter? Will it happen? I don't know, but I hope it
don't know.
does. That's my hope. That's my prayer. Hey, y'all, thank you for joining us for another episode of In the Zone Podcast. Y'all are the best. We wouldn't do this if y'all didn't watch. I appreciate everybody in the comments. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. See you then.
Podcast. In the Zone Podcast. In the Zone Podcast. In the Zone Podcast. In the Zone Podcast. In the Zone